Yehova Eloheinu Sebaot, Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Please fill me and lead me and cover me with the Ruach HaKodesh, that I may speak your written words with boldness to those who listen. I ask all these things in Yeshua HaMashiach's name. Amen. We'll start with the Shema. Listen and obey. Children of Yehova, pay careful attention and respond. Yehova is our power and authority. Yehova works in unity with himself, and you shall act upon your love to Yehova with your power and authority, with your thoughts in mind, with your entire body, with all the muchness that you have. Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey. Hand, behold, nail, behold. Judges chapter 9. Avimelech, the son of Jerubbaal, went to Shechem, so to his mother's brothers, and spoke with them with the whole clan of his maternal grandfather. He said, "Please ask all the men of Shechem, which is better for you, that all 70 sons of Jerubbaal rule over you, or that one person rule over you? And remember that I am your blood relative." His mother's brother spoke to all the men of Shechem and said all of this to them, so that they followed their feelings and supported Avimelech, arguing, "After all, he is our brother." They also gave him 70 pieces of silver from the temple of Baal Brit, and he used these to pay good-for-nothing thugs to follow him. He went back to his father's house in Ophrah and killed his brothers, the sons of Jerubbaal, all 70 of them, on a single rock, except for Yotam, Jerubbaal's youngest son, who stayed alive because he hid himself. All the men of Shechem and all Bet Milo got together and went and made Avimelech king at the oak by the cult pillar in Shechem. When they told this to Yotam, he went and stood on the top of Mount Gerizim and shouted, "Listen to me, you leaders of Shechem. Then God will listen to you." Once the trees went out to choose a king to rule them. They said to the olive tree, "Rule over us." But the olive tree replied, Am I supposed to leave my oil, which is used to honor both God and humanity? Just go and hold sway over the trees." So the trees said to the fig tree, "You come rule over us." But the fig tree replied, "Am I supposed to leave my sweetness and my good fruit just so I can go and hold sway over the trees?" So the trees said to the grapevine, "You come rule over us." But the grapevine replied, "Am I supposed to leave my wine, which gives cheer to God and humanity, just to go and hold over the trees?" Finally, all the trees said to the thorn bush, "You come rule over us." The thorn bush replied, "If you really make me king over you, then come and take shelter in my shade. But if not, let fire come out of the thorn bush and burn down the cedars of Lebanon." Here's the point. Have you been honest and straightforward in making Avimelech king? Have you been fair with Jerubbaal and his household and treated him as he deserves? My father fought on your behalf, risking his life, and rescued you from the power of Midian. And now you are rebelling against my father's household. You've killed his 70 sons on a single stone and made Avimelech, the son of his slave girl, king over the men of Shechem because he's your brother. I say this, if you are dealing honestly and righteously with Jerubbaal and his household today, then you may enjoy Avimelech and may he enjoy you. But if not, let fire come out of Avimelech and burn up the men of Shechem and Bet Milo. And then let fire come out of the men of Shechem and Bet Milo and burn up Avimelech. Then Yotam fled, making his way to Beer, and he lived there for fear of Avimelech, his brother. Avimelech was chief over Israel for 3 years, but God sent a spirit of discord between Avimelech and the men of Shechem, so that the men of Shechem dealt treacherously with Avimelech. This came about so that the crime against the 70 sons of Jerubbaal might be avenged, and the responsibility for their blood death be placed on Avimelech, their brother, who murdered them, and on the men of Shechem, who helped kill his brothers. So the men of Shechem sent out men to ambush him on the mountaintops. They robbed everyone who went past them, and Abimelech was told about it. Gaal, the son of a slave, came with his brothers and went on to Shechem. And the men of Shechem put their trust in him. They went out into the field and gathered their grapes and pressed the juice out of them. Then they held a feast and went out into the house of their God to eat and drink. And there they insulted Abimelech. Gaal, the son of a slave, said, "Who is Abimelech? Think of the contrast with Shechem. Why should we serve Abimelech? Isn't he the son of Jerubbaal? Isn't Yeshua his officer? Serve the men of Hamor, the father of Shechem. Why should we serve Abimelech? If I were in control of this people, I'd get rid of Abimelech." Then, addressing his words to Abimelech, he said, "Come out and fight. I don't care if you make your army even larger." When Yeshua, the ruler of the city, heard the words of Gaal, the son of a slave, he was enraged. He sent messengers to Abimelech in Tormah with this message: "Gaal, the son of a slave, and his brothers have come to Shechem, and they're inciting the city against you. You and the men with you should come up now at night and lay in wait in the field. In the morning, get up early as soon as the sun rises, and attack the city. Then, when Gaal and the men with them come out to fight you, do whatever you can to them." Abimelech and all the men with him came up by night and lay in wait against Shechem in 4 groups. Gaal, the son of a slave, went out and stationed himself at the entrance of the city gate. Then Abimelech and his men rose from their ambush. When Gaal saw the men, he said to Yeshua, "Look, there are men coming down from the mountaintops." Yeshua answered, "You're seeing the shadows of the mountains as if they were men." Gaal said again, "Look, there are men coming down from the main hill in the land, and one group is coming on the road from the fortune teller's oak." Yeshua said to him, "Where's your mouth now? You said, 'Who is Abimelech? Why should we serve him? Aren't these people you despise? Go on out and fight them." So Gaal went out, leading the men of Shechem, and fought Abimelech. But Abimelech gave chase, and Gaal took fight. Many fell wounded, strewn all the way to the city gate. Then Abimelech took up residence in Arumah, and Yeshua drove out Gaal and his brothers, so that they could not live in Shechem. But the very next day the people went into the field, and Abimelech was told about it. He took his men, divided them into 3 groups, and laid in wait in the field. When he saw the people going out of the city, he came out of hiding and slaughtered them. Abimelech and his group rushed forward and occupied the entrance of the city gate, while the other 2 groups attacked all those who had in the field and killed them. Abimelech fought against the city all that day, captured it, killed its people, destroyed its buildings, and sowed its land with salt. When all the men in the fortress at Shechem heard about this, they took refuge in the strongholds in the temple of El-Brit. Abimelech was told about all the men from Shechem fortress had gathered together. So he led all his men up to Mount Zelamon, where he took an axe in his hand, cut a branch off a tree, laid it on his shoulder. Then he said to those with him, "Quick, just do as you saw me do." They all did likewise, each man cutting off his branch, and they followed Abimelech. They put the branches up against the stronghold, set them on fire, and burned down the stronghold, so that all the people from Shechem fortress died, about 1,000 men and women. Then Abimelech went to Tivitz, set up camp against Tivitz, and captured it. But there was a fortified tower inside the city, and all the men and women took refuge in it, everyone in the city. They shut themselves inside and went up onto the roof of the tower. However, when Abimelech approached the tower, attacked it, and then came up close to the tower's door in order to burn it down, a woman dropped an upper millstone on Abimelech's head, cracking his skull. He quickly called out to the young man holding his armor, "Draw your sword and finish me off, so that people won't say a woman killed me." So his attendant ran him through, and he died. When all the men of Israel saw that Abimelech was dead, they all went back home. This is how God paid back Abimelech for the wrong he did to his father in murdering his 70 brothers. God also repaid the men of Shechem for all the wrong they had done. On them came the curse of Jotam, the son of Jerubbaal. Now can we learn to love our Creator after reading this Interesting 9th chapter of Judges. We can aim to submit to Yehova ruling over you. Follow Yehova, not your feelings. Support followers of Yehova proven by their consistent actions. Aim to be united in the will of Yehova. Aim to preserve life, not end it. Listen to the written words of Yehova. Aim to be honest and straightforward. Aim to be fair. Remain loyal to Yehova. Deal honestly and righteously with others. Fear Yehova alone. Ask Yehova to send a spirit of unity. Ask Yehova to be your avenger. Place your full trust in Yehova. Speak kindly to those around you. Serve Yehova wholeheartedly. Be slow to anger. Aim for unity and peace. Trust that the justice of Yehova is close. Trust that Yehova will pay back all the evil that is done. Ask Yehova to bless you and show you mercy. How can we love others as Yeshua loves us? We can point others to Yehova for salvation by way of Yeshua. Bear one another's burdens. We can be honest, fair, straightforward, loyal, and bring unity. Produce spiritual fruit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, humility, self-control. We'll end with the Aaronic blessing using the name. Yehova will kneel before you presenting gifts, and he will guard you with a hedge of protection. Yehova will illuminate the wholeness of his being toward you, bringing order, and he will provide you with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yehova will lift up the wholeness of his being and look upon you and will set in place all you need to be whole and complete.